Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to talk about a interesting deal. It's the first of a few that will be coming down the pipe. We're starting to exit the most recent private equity fund, and that means some neat opportunities for you guys. So we've got a couple deals that are available right now. One that looks like may be going under contract in the next couple of days, but one that we're just now putting the prospectus and everything together on that I'll chat a little bit about. So the cool thing with these deals is there's a certain filter that's already been done. So these are businesses that we've actually bought and we own and we like. So they passed kind of my due diligence process. It's a very formal thing when you're buying in a fund, and so there's auditors that are looking at everything. So you're not really fudging things and making up things, which happens a lot with these smaller deals. So that's one big factor. Obviously, they've met my due diligence criteria. And just the fact that you're buying it from somebody who's actually gone through the process and bought it and proven that it does work, it's making money. I think it's a little bit different than even a broker. The thing with a broker is that they're not putting up money to buy the asset. They're just saying, "Hey, I don't care who buys it. I'm not going to buy it." They don't like the deal enough to buy it. So that's always like a little bit concerned. Like, okay, like if this is such a great deal, why aren't you buying it? And they're going to get paid no matter whether it's a good deal or not. So they're going to get their money just as a part of the transaction. So the other thing that we're doing is twofold. Number one, we are willing to do some seller finance. I always tell you guys that should never do a deal where they want all cash. And so I'm not going to come to you and say you should pay me all cash. We will do a portion earnout on the deals. And then the other awesome thing is that we actually have investors that are interested in putting money into the deal as well if the right buyer comes along. So it's a very cool, very unique opportunity to buy something. And I think the kind of final factor is I would buy it if I could. I'm basically conflicted out of the deal because I can't be the manager of a fund and negotiate with myself to buy the business. So it has to be another buyer. So and this is the deals right now. I know how to continue growing this business. We bought it earlier this year, or we may have bought it at the end of last year, but this year we've 3x this business. And I think it can continue to grow, so whoever does end up being the buyer, we're going to be a part of the earnout. So I will obviously kind of show you how to continue growing this thing. It's basically at a 3x, a little bit less than a 3 multiple, generating about 10,000 a month. It's going to be less than 300,000 sales price, and we're going to do some earnout. And like I said, we also have investors. The business is a business in the content space. So it's a content business. They're very easy to run. We'll transfer over our writers and all of that if you're interested in using them. And they're good at SEO and all that. Can continue to do the work that they're doing with the strategy that they're using. So lots of upside on this deal. I think it's a pretty unique opportunity to get into something, have some pretty awesome deal structure put around it. I'll be working with you on that. And it will be kind of first come, first serve. Typically, when I rarely sell deals, I haven't sold a deal out of my portfolio in the last 8 years just because of the whole snowball thing. I'll let you guys look that up, what that is when we're buying businesses with the cash flow from the other businesses. And so I don't really have a reason to sell. And so the only reason that this one is available is because, like I said, I'm conflicted out of the deal. This is also a separate lesson for you folks that are starting private equity funds. One of the downsides to managing funds is the fact that you can't buy the business. I don't know if you guys follow markets, but there's the whole thing WeWork. It'd be a great thing for you to look up and learn about. You know, in the WeWork business, the CEO of that business has done a lot of terrible things, and but they all center around him doing what's called self-dealing. Instead of saying like, "Hey, this is me doing something. I'm basically negotiating with myself. I should be conflicted out of doing this thing." He just says, "Hey, like I'm going to negotiate this with myself." He's done things like buy a commercial building and then go to rework and negotiate with himself to lease from the building that he just bought. He's done things like come up with the name WeWork, which obviously it was his business, and then negotiate with himself to buy the trademark of the business that he started and raised money for from himself. I mean, it's basically just like, oh, I'm just going to transfer this amount of money into my personal account. It's pretty shady stuff, and it looks like, you know, as of today, he's been forced to step down. But that's the kind of thing that when you're managing a fund, is not allowed. Like you can't do that. So it's something to be aware of if you're going to manage a fund, that you know, you can't you unless you get a written approval from your investors, which probably wouldn't be very smart investors. You can't go and buy a business in the fund and then say, okay, well, I'm personally going to buy those deals out of the fund, but which can be painful. You know, this is a great example. You know, come with a strategy. We've 3x this business. You guys that go through the process will kind of see the numbers. It's really unreal what we've done. I want to continue, but I can't. So, the process, how we do deals. Obviously, I only want serious people that you know, want to buy deals from us. We kind of follow the same thing that Empire Flippers does. You've got to make a deposit if you want any information on what we're doing. You know, there are too many people out there. If you're not serious enough to put down $5,000 as a deposit, then you know you're not going to get to see the deal. If you are serious about looking at the deal, you know, reach out. You can, you know, send an email. You can send an email over to Ashley at acechapman.com. I'll put that down in the description. If you like, you can also text me. I'll put that phone number down in the description. But just if you want to write it down, it's 585-670-6609. Shoot me a text. We'll tell you the process. You will have to make a $5,000 deposit that is refundable. I guess I should say that. It's refundable. You know, once you make that deposit, then you're able to look at any of the deals that we offer, but we do want a deposit on file. You should never, you know, just as a side note, you should never work with a broker who isn't requiring that. There are businesses that are all over the world. There's a big one in Nigeria that literally they pretend like they're a person. They sign an NDA to get the prospectuses. They pick out the best business and then they duplicate it. This isn't, you know, having a restaurant that makes burgers where, you know, if somebody wants to compete with you, they have to put in all the money to do the build out. They've got to hire employees. They got to buy supplies. They got a lot of work. They got to advertise all that. And a lot of these businesses, if somebody has the blueprint of what you've done, they can easily go to GoDaddy, spend $11 on a domain, build a site for less than a couple $100. The IP, the protection, the moat, as Warren Buffett calls it, in this business is the intellectual property, the work that you've done to figure out how to make a business work. It's not that it's so costly to recreate it. Once somebody knows exactly what you're doing, it can be recreated. Talk to plenty of buyers from those brokers that don't require deposits, which that's the majority. Empire is one of the reasons that I have a great relationship with them, is that I think that that is an important part for these internet businesses. And you'll see if you buy one from one of those that doesn't, the very next month there'll be 5, 6 copycat businesses that now you're competing with people that know your exact strategy and why you're winning, because they got the perspective by just signing an NDA. Cool. Let me know if you're interested in the deal. If you want to get these notifications so that you can find out about the deals and get access to them before other folks do, be sure to subscribe. That way you get a notification. I'm going to have a lot of these that are coming out in the next 6 months. Some really amazing deals, some awesome deal structures. Got investors that want to invest in the deals, that like them already. And the only reason I'm selling them is because I can't buy them. So, cool opportunity for you guys. And be sure to leave any comments, questions, things that I may have left out here. If you're interested in finding out more about the deal, shoot an email over to Ash. Feel free to shoot me a text, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thanks so much.